how well is Dauren going to be able to set up their gains, their gain tags, while Pirates is just going to be continuously trying to knock them down bit by bit. Raiding fleet, very nice to get a bit of bloodthirst going. And this uncrate longship is a bit difficult to deal with in the current board state. Quite a good steal target if you can get the pulling the strings up to the 4 Cs. But yeah, would probably require a leader commitment unless the Bloody Good Friends is able to stick.
Okay, I seem to solved all the problems with the visual glitch, so we have player names. Myamon is at the bottom, but on the red coin. Dauren is on blue on the top of the screen. That's just a peculiar side of tournament platform bugging out. So yeah, this is sorry for the delays, but now we are in the final, and this is best of 5. So the battle will continue for at least 40 minutes, and yesterday we had series that went for almost 2 hours, so I wonder how the Gwent gods today with the ties. We getting many of them or not.
Right. As you see, Myamon struggling to get this abordage through, since Dauren goes to the little bird earlier to not only set up the additional tag, but then with the leader, now you have the 4 tags, the pulling the strings is online, uncrate longship being seized. Probably not going to achieve awfully much because there is armor on kind of whatever would be played. But I don't think Myamon's hand is awfully playable unless we see commitment with like the Curse of Corruption and whatnot.
Yeah, if he decides, we do see Curse of Corruption go through, extra tempo with the dog jumping out of the deck. Okay.
Maybe reliant on a good playable draw from the abordage, because the totem, the last wish, and compass you really don't want to be playing in this round here from Myamon.
Well,
maybe you can afford to play the last wish, considering the compass is in hand, but it's quite risky depending on like if you see the heat wave too early and just not a good time.
Yeah, then you have to play against things like Novigrad or allowing your opponent to play Toll Punish. Now that COC is without Toll Punish, well, you still have Compass, but you know, sometimes you'll have to rely on Compass for other purposes. Okay, so quite a weird start to this tournament, I must say, since we had a delay, but the weird start for Myamon here as well, because of, well, yeah, you can get Tirkvi Heatwave or Wabjorn Heatwave as the options. You'd want to tin with Wabjorn, but you'd rather do it proper way, not tinning the Wabjorn
get the actual
out
additional tempo. But also, I'd say playing your Terror of the Seas this early into round 1 is pretty non-standard as well. If you play the Terror of the Seas round 1, usually it's as your like last couple of cards, but just playing for 4 damage with 4 armor, being on Terror of the Seas and just cleaning up the little bird, saying you have a lot of tags on your board, you have like all the tags, I don't want you to have a 6-for-2 spender getting all the value every single turn. And now Purify goes through, not finding awfully much value since it's only a 5 power search veteran. Here comes the actual big doom and pirate after the first poison goes through, so it should be safe from all the fist techs, not likely to get addicted to those drugs. And with the Terror of the Seas actually being a ship, even if the bronze ship was stolen, there is no discard being forced with the demon pirate. Very nice draw. The demon smugglers is quite cheap to then continue playing next to the Terror of the Seas.
Not pulling the strings, and the ship being stolen makes smugglers like go some Travolta looking around. Yes. Where do I hide my goods?
Yeah, so very good heads up play here for Dauren, recognizing that just if the Pirates player doesn't control any ships, then their bronze pirates, particularly the Demon Pirate and the Demon Smuggler, are a lot more awkward to play. It makes sense, right? Because what is a pirate going to do without their ship? Now they're just, well, stuck on land, not able to do any raiding. Here's the option with all the warriors, and the good thing about this deck not actually playing bronze warriors themselves is the Feral Bond has a lot of options in what you can choose. You could go for maybe a Brockvar warrior, get typically about 8 points of value. Could also go for a Survivor Butcher and make use of the Berserk on the Veteran. Now that does kind of play into the poison, but well, if the Veteran was dying anyways, then the damage still doesn't really matter. So it's still basically playing as a 8-point warrior.
Okay, so the Veteran, after all the wars, sadly succumbed to the drug consumption. Don't do drugs at home or at all unless it's medical advice from your doctor. Okay, I didn't catch what was banished.
That was Heatwave, and Bjorn was shown on the last wish. So Heatwave played means Bjorn is banished, and I believe that the last wish doesn't show the opponent which card was banished. So I don't think Dauren knows that the Bjorn is now something that they don't have to worry about.
And Bjorn, as a 6 power body with armor in round 3, is a good way to eliminate attack from the board. Well, yeah, instead gets eliminated.
That's typically a good way to answer a little bird, or maybe deal with the bloody good friends to deny the double tag. But yeah, that's not really an option. Very slow Demon Smuggler now. Yeah, this is the problem. Myamon's hand very awkward now. I mean, still keeping in this doesn't mean if Dauren wants to contest, we have to see a bigger commitment play. But there isn't that many sort of big threats that the Horseman would want to remove later on. It's maybe just something you'd want to answer a totem with. But does end up securing the round, playing for the very solid 11 points. Now, also maybe the junior would have been good to deal with the longship, but if the longship had a bit of armor, it's kind of have a bit of a problem dealing with it.
Oh, look, Tirkvi, there we go.
Yep.
Tirkvi not banished. I guess Myamon might have been happier with Tirkvi leaving on the last wish.
Yeah.
But maybe we just don't know. Okay, we witnessed Dauren still continuing to collect KOB into his hand.
Yeah, and note that the last mulligan was used on the Novigradian Justice rather than the King of Beggars, so a very conscious decision to keep the King of Beggars in hand, so that it's not going to be drawn on the last mulligan in the round 3. I'd expect it to either just be a dry pass or a very quick tempo bleed, playing the Furco the Sculptor into that Novigradian Justice.
But eating Compass deck is always nice. In terms of...
It is, but...
Let's see. Okay, decides not to. I think if the KOB was in deck and he had like 3 cards to play to set up the board for Sigi, we would have witnessed that, because, well, we do see the Compass in hand, and if you play in that, sure, there are still 2 cards in the deck, and Compass returns, but the problem is Svabjorn is one of those cards, so you're basically making bricks on bricks.
And Abadar still in deck.
So depending on what is discarded, it could have been 2 dead cards for... almost dead cards for Myamon, but well, we see
last mulligan on the Sewer Raiders just draws the second Sewer Raiders. So there's still Jacques and Novigrad in hand, in deck still, along with the Bank and the Collusion. So whilst the Sea Reuven likely is going to be able, it is guaranteed to find Jacques and Collusion, Novigradian Justice can play out the Bloody Good Friends. You will be missing the Shady Vendor. and also pulling the strings. So yeah, a lot of like Fisto Traffickers and failed experiments you probably don't really want in hand at this point. You might just see the poisons coming down early onto this uncrate longship.
Yeah, so how are you sticking tags? That's Vabjorn into the damage, and then the Corsair combined with Abordage. But other than that, yeah, the Tirkwe is delayed damage.
Now this is a knife.
Yeah, the problem is now Furko is also the only crown splitter for the Justice to play off from. Luckily, it does live here. In fact, I'm surprised this wasn't killed because surely the Furko would have triggered the Justice there if it was still in deck. But
so one unit that can just be eliminated by Tirkwe, but it can bleed itself almost to death, and you all kind of want to kill it anyway. And then the second one with the shield, which is also not ideal.
No.
Fire.
There.
The tags leave for now. Dauren must be happy.
Yeah. Yes, the BGF stays alive for a little bit longer, since Myamon opts to maximize the value on the Cataclysm here.
At the same time, if it lives for one turn with Little Bird, it can live for more. Sure, you are given Tirkwe value, but if you protect that, develop Little Bird with the Blind Eyes category. Wait, yeah, there is still KOB.
But I think Myamon will be fine if Little Bird gets played here regardless, because it could be cleaned up very easily the following turn with a leader into deranged Corsair.
An outbreak of the clap at the High Rocks, Paddies.
So yeah, and this is why we see the on the same row, the leader charge is used, A, to maximize the value on this spend on the Little Bird, but B, also protect a little bit from the Cataclysm of the deranged Corsair. It's a bit less of a guarantee that the Cataclysm will be able to find a kill onto the Little Bird.
Oh, nice setup for Sigeruven by now. Still hoping to hit, yeah. I guess Jacques is guaranteed, right? So you are fine with the options from Sigi. In leader charge and RNG. And you miss even some of the shots you take. You definitely miss the ones that you don't take, but you are occasionally also missing those that you take. Sometimes Cataclysm is nothing to a Little Bird.
Finally, you bloody took long enough.
So
Yeah, I think that was about a 30% chance to miss all of those.
That's why we love Lemon. Quick math. Provided.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a lot of Swarm. So Swollblot Totem with the Swollblot being present. At least one Fanatic is dead after the collusion against it.
Yeah, and this was a max value collusion with all the gangs being on board here for the Pirates Cove. It does go very wide into the Svalbard, as you say. Wide. And yes, that's going to be a lot of damage. Now almost wiping the sort of Sijaku, all the spenders, but yeah, all those little tokens, they're not going to be sticking around for very long.
So being on the verge of the Cataclysm, but also seeing the Svalbard come in makes maybe it will make some of the Firesworn zealots to switch their beliefs, but maybe they'll just be dead before. So I guess Myamon was looking at the control options, and since there are basically none to deal with the Svalbard and Fanatics, decides to pass and
Yeah.
not trigger it, gets rewarded with a couple of units drop in as potential, continuation of that damage of Svalbard. So those kind of played for 7 points, but they're far less in the end. Demon Pirate is late to the party to discard anything. Nothing is left in the deck, but yeah, how many points? You done the quick math now? Okay, Myamon actually triggers the Soul Blood before I can ask you for the for the calculations.
Look, and it's not 9 p.m. yet, but still, I'm gonna say it's way too late for me to be doing any Soul Blood maths. Now, the boost onto the BGF from the Little Bird actually means the Turgvi now can find the full 6 damage with that Cataclysm.
How much of a bleeding?
Sorry, Cataclysm Rupture.
So you can bleed, but only once on each unit. That leaves something on the BGF anyway, yeah. We do see
you make
that
use of
at least a couple of points is being saved here.
Yeah, and look, if you wanted to use the poison transfer anyways here, you would have had to spend 4 coins on the actual fee, as well as miss out on 3 points for not getting a self-poison on the Fistek Trafficker. And you only would have been sort of getting a 7-point poison regardless, so it's fine to just spend your coins earlier, maybe a bit more efficiently than a 1-for-1 rate with the Little Bird and the Tide Cloak as well. Yeah.
You wanna pass, you gotta pay. Can't let you
Okay,
through
so
elsewhere.
Maybe now you would have had a bit of a better poison, but it's
So is Dauren regretting not going for it, as the Swole Blood goes for the last hurrah explosion here? It's double the score.
How's you doing business with you?
And 9 points.
That was very rough. Like, I think just draw-wise for Dauren, there was limited sort of plays that could be made with that hand when you have that Fistek Trafficker and the failed experiment not doing very much, since there's no real tall units the opponent was playing, at least not till like the very last turn. You really missed like that Novograd and the did the Kingmakers even come out? Because the second Shady Vendor wasn't even played.
Any perfect draws?
That is the good thing about the Pirates list, which we won't really see again now because it got a win, but it is fairly consistent because it has a lot of auto thinning with the Musicians, the Roach, the Knickers early in the game. So if you're able to draw your thinning and like the abordages as well, you should be able to find basically everything. Similarly, Stockpile here has a couple of good tutors with the AA, the Decree, and no Natalis though in this list. Oh no, there is in hand. I'm just blind. Yeah, quite a bit of consistency, and similarly, the Nature's Gift also has a lot of tutors with the Fav as well. But a lot of those tutors are kind of locked up in, say, often you want to use the Council to get the for the Vandal.
It is a good day when you can just boil in oil and deal with Orkwan, and that's the end of the Orkwan thread. As an NR player, you should be incredibly happy, but yeah, Dauren decided to take it as a first play, and I guess you cannot really protect it, especially with Carabalista developed. So
Yeah.
you either delay.
Yeah, if there's no. Yeah, if there was no siege engine on board, you could try to protect it, but if there is a Carabalist or Reinforced Ballista sitting there, then you can't do much against boiling oil, so there's no real point protecting.
And now we do see small treants. So what does it mean for Cadveni Revenant? At the moment, nothing. It can be also locked. Although there is a Purify
Yeah,
available
think
for
it's-
now.
yeah. This does play very badly into the Tempest here. Yeah, you deal with the opposing Symbiosis unit, but now you have units on both rows, so the Fog is able to get immediate value, and it's also going to be able to clean up this reinforced Ballista in a couple turns. Yes, the siege support can keep it alive for a little bit longer, but that's just one extra turn. We might see decrease soon for the Radovid
Yeah.
coming out. Particularly want the Radovid if before the opponent maybe has a chance to draw them more in. But yeah, I mean, it likely will just get locked immediately.
Myamon likes the addition of siege support for that insta zeal as well, so we've seen him utilize that. Okay, it's a Moran that decides to just go angry on the machine instead, which is not how she usually utilized, but for what, 6 provisions, having the flags between the lock and the damage is
Yeah.
quite nice.
But yeah, this is like an ideal situation for this Kedwani Revenant. Look at all these 1-power treants. I don't quite know how they turn into these cursed soldiers, but there's some kind of blight is taking over the forest.
Yeah.
And yeah, these will just be getting basically 5 points each turn, since there really isn't an answer remaining for Dauren, unless this Philavandrel is used early. You could but very well just try and use the Philavandrel and try and push for an uneven here, though.
Yeah. I guess you can play Harvest. Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
The true skill is showing
Keep a stiff neck.
here with an answer for Revenant.
Is it guaranteed? It should be almost guaranteed on the front row between either finding Rebuke or the backup plan, I think.
Okay, at 5 power, yeah. It's not cloaked with the 4P cards, sorry. Maybe.
Yeah, you have flexibility. If you played it back row, then you would have been shown the 4P cards, but front row it's only 5P.
So yeah, my mistake on that. Maybe it was just a cold calculation from Philavandrel and Dauren. I kinda mistook the row. But the card did get a buff recently, so yeah, can get the rebuke.
Yeah. Bit of a commitment with the AA coming out. That is the first Echo down. But
it is how I punish those.
Yeah, Myamon not wanting to go up the round, particularly not wanting to lose uneven. But with the Radovid now, you can also click the Radovid before playing the Treant infantry, so this infantry can play for that 13 points maximum value on the front row.
Yeah.
And even then you have a reinforcements target. So I think Myamon definitely can just play the entire hand here. Dauren could as well. I think Dryad's Caress, you don't really care much about trying to lock something, so you can just play it now to maximize the vitality value. And then might have to commit that Frog Mating Season in response.
Yeah, so costs Myamon, but at least you are not running a Dahlia, so losing the Temerian infantry is basically just losing points, of course, but you don't want to lose uneven against Gift anyway, so we might see both cards committed. Dauren not going for maybe a kill on Temerian infantry, goes for point play here instead. And with all the vitalities he was getting ahead, but this allows Myamon to play another 13 points of tempo.
Yeah.
And for Dauren, well, there are leader charges and frogs, so...
Yeah, I think maybe one leader ought to be committed. They should play for, what, I think 9 points itself. Does the Symbiosis Spawns trigger on its own? I think it does. Yeah, I think it should be enough with the leader here. Yeah.
Okay, so 1,
Nice
2,
thing is
3.
with the frogs, your leader can play for 2 points, even when you use it on the same turn that you pass. So
that's
all this
enough.
vitality will go through and take the lead by 1.
So that's the nice thing about frogs. They can save you a couple of, or provide you with a couple of extra points. So the reach, we also seen Lerio moving all the frogs yesterday to secure a tie in the match against Dauren.
Yeah. So Dauren leapfrogging past Myamon there takes round control in this game. Now, pretty decent hand if you want to go for a bit of a short push. And you very well might want to try to bleed something like a Henso out as well.
Muzzle kind of puts the end to this push though,
Yeah.
and nice find from Myamon there.
You
At
find
least,
to
yeah,
just play the Hamadryad without Vitality, then the next turn you could maybe try to boost it and then Vitality, although that would play, I think, a bit too much into the Heat Wave. So you do at least get the second AA out, so instead of just taking the card advantage straight away, you are getting quite high value things, right? Sort of in a card for card provision-wise trade.
okay, but we do see the power of Ronwit. He will fight a lot of battles as long as you provide him with the trip to the graveyard and a soldier to reanimate him.
And yeah, sure, the Hamadryad isn't getting that Vitality additional value, but it is still a Symbiosis unit. So when you're playing these 3 nature cards in the following turn, that is still +1 on each of those triads and helps protect a bit against the offensive revenant value. Because Ronvid is only going to come back if the Hensel actually gets played here. And yeah, definitely Myamon would need to play the Hensel to have enough points here to catch up. And then in the short round, Dauren should maybe.
Yeah, nothing is
stay ahead.
left there.
Yeah, I'm surprised no additional leader could have been cute potentially, like on a, if you say call the forest into a Hamadryad. But yeah. I guess the Vitality does protect against a potential reinforced Ballista into helping this offensive Revenant a bit more. Or then maybe it does play into the Fortis Pride. I think it would have been more correct actually for Myamon to not use the Revenant immediately and use the offensive Fortis Pride perhaps. Actually,
Okay, so the Gort is being saved, and you still need to commit a few leader charges here.
Yeah, it says 9
okay,
points.
not really, a few.
Be suited, my lady.
You don't really need to overdo it, so maybe your Temerian infantry. One is still necessary, but Temerian
I mean, it's enough regardless, but
it's basically a Gort.
It would have been more points offensively using the Revenant, but yeah, it doesn't matter here. I don't know. Yeah, that I don't know if it would have been more correct there for Myamon to use the leaders to get ahead there with the Hensel. Because, yeah, you have the 4 leaders now, but I'm not sure they're getting that much value.
I pass on every 10th round.
I mean, yeah, you cannot save the Carabalista, otherwise would have been an alright value with the double machine on the back row. But, yeah, looking at it now, like you're buffing a human. The only thing you don't want to do, it's either buffing a human or machine. They are dying.
But I don't think you're going to have much of a choice.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the thing, when you don't have that double loss, say these siege engines aren't going to get very much value. Ironically, here you would have maybe, okay, Siege Tower would have died to the Eskel, but then at least you're kind of forking between the Eskel killing the boosted unit from Terrain Infantry and your leader actually getting value onto the Reinforced Ballista, because Dauren can just... Okay, this actually is the best play here for Myamon, because if Dauren wants to not develop a board here, you play the Rebuke to not play into Ballista leader charges, but then you'd in some way either be losing value on the Rebuke when playing on the infantry, or losing value on your Eskel Pathfinder.
He goes for the kill, although the skill, well, this was the last possible.
Yeah.
Chimerian infantry, no reinforcements, no spells to reanimate it. So ping, 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 but you have far too many of those. So a couple of them left unused. Oh, like, yeah, the pings don't go through. 21 point, this is full Gort, and Eskel killing Ronwit is a tragedy for Myamon. And we get ourselves a tie now, 1-1. Gift once again shows why it was picked by a few players competing today. So that's a gift victory. GG's to Dauren, and two more, another from the lower bracket qualifies today, and two will qualify next weekend in top 32 qualifier that we are holding.
And I'm glad that you talked about what the rest of the year is going to be like a bit with the crown points, because I was going to potentially predict a Syndicate mirror here, and I would have been sorely wrong. So both players saving Syndicate for later. Dauren taking monsters on red coin, and Northern Realms is blue coin. Sorry, vice versa. We have the red faction on blue coin and the blue faction on red coin.
Yeah, but this is not a tournament platform bug. This is how players decided to make it now.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't
No
take
heatwave.
Syndicate because there is no orange coin.
And Caraballistas always feel very bad in this kind of matchup because they're susceptible to the leader just moving them out of the way. Also bruises, but the Soul Bruiser for Dauren is still in deck.
We've caught another taskmaster.
Okay, Aristocrat Order, there is the dominance also there regardless. So it doesn't even need to use any of those additional sources.
Yeah, the Aristocrat
And it does have now units on both rows, so that's good if you want to maybe do a Red Riders and pull out the Winter Queen.
What do you want?
Okay, so do we see Myamon playing here just for the carryover value with Radovich and maybe not going all in? Although when you activate your Radovich, your Chimerians, such a nice tempo that you can casually just threaten win on even. So maybe expecting that Chimerian infantry will be deployed in this round, you might be concerned about your dominance. So maybe just let the Wild Hunt Riders to go out early, not really keeping them for Oberon round 3 because well, there are alternatives for Oberon choices in round 3 anyway. So yeah, we see the siege support Radovich interaction. That's nice.
No, it's not necessarily sort of clear what you'd want to play next here for Dauren. Maybe think a bit, when would you develop the Red Riders? Are you gonna wait a bit before deciding if you want to put more Frost onto the board or not?
For now, we do see that he's not splitting the frost for Winter Queen Tinin and Trent, but Winter Queen, I don't think there's any means for protection on the same turn, as she drops from the deck after you end your turn. Right, or like deploy the frost. So yeah, it always is a boiling oil that Myamon should be keeping for that.
Yeah. Although unless we have excess frost, it's not going to matter awfully much here. But this is still 5 turns of frost coming onto the back row here. So that will last for a decent amount of time. But, I think Myamon, just waited on that oil. Could have killed the Naglfar's crew the turn before, but decides to wait and to play the Revenant so you're able to get that nice offensive follow-up. Quite clean gameplay. And down 7 points, but Terrain Infantry can certainly be used to just catch up were Dauren to pass currently. But I think likely see some aggressive play. The Naglfar's Taskmaster is... Oh, no, just passes.
Okay.
Interesting.
So that's 13. He gets you a hatch. Any Natalis AA plays that you'd rather do? Ronwit is dropping as what? A 9, right? 6 plus 3, so that's 11 points.
Yeah, I would like to develop that Ronwit, and I think you called it there.
And you have Revenant active. Wait, no, you don't have Revenant. You have Revenant pink, so that's exactly. You can just. Sometimes we forget here, you mentioned in the previous game, you can use the pink offensively. So that's exactly.
Even if you're not getting a kill, it still does 1 damage, and sometimes, like we see here, that is enough to take the lead.
So my math was okay. It's a tie, but there is a ping, but there is nothing to cannibalize on the opponent's side of or your side of the board. Ronwit is 9. What are you eating? But just ping, just shoot, do it. And Dauren does exactly that. Oh, Myamon does exactly that. Dauren took a pass.
Lot of bronzes here for Dauren, and even mulligans the turn earlier. I wonder if aiming to play that from the girls to sort of be able to play that turn 1 and effectively get it through in the dry pass.
Yeah, if that's the plan. It would have been a nice one, but Myamon is not really going away, not taking a long round 3, even with the machines that he's potentially developing and wreaking havoc on the other side of the board. Deems it more necessary to bleed. And this is the Gales and Tyrnelea, as you expected. Yeah, you need a unit stick in to not lose the boost from Tyrnelea, so nice nice play here. Although, there were 4 important goals that were tutorable by Gales, so now you only have Naglfar setting you up with 2.
And you need to get the Winter Queen up for using your Naglfar, I'd say. Otherwise, it's pretty risky. But but it's limited avenues to take to kind of get that through. Myamon is actually playing onto both rows here. Interesting to see. And you very well might just need the Wrath here, because otherwise this Revenant is gaining just too many points per turn. And with the this would have been the Riptide, I think, just straight away, right? Or you could maybe, is this just Naglfar hoping to find either the Wrath or Riptide?
But Winter Queen just messing you up for no reason. Okay. Go for Frost on both rows now, and Just a bronze. Just not risking the Naglfar shenanigans, because with Winter Queen being one of those two units, you are
Okay.
just losing too much.
But, but then Riptide isn't going to be an option to deal with the Revenant, so... And letting that Revenant live, now there's 2 Revenants.
Interesting.
So, I don't know, maybe you just would have had to take that risk, because, well, I mean, we'll see how it develops. I mean, maybe I'm underrating the value that this Frost is going to provide, but when there is this Reinforced Blister slowly pinging down, this Winter Queen looks like she's just going to be fodder for the Revenants.
And it's so nice. Two Revenants, one Ronwit feeding on it, and I guess we'll see the infantry just bringing him back. So
Yeah.
some crazy value from a 6p card. But yeah, it's not Ronwit value, okay? It's just Revenants, 4p cards on steroids. Although we might see the Winter Queen kill instead.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
For Temeria! For Mead Bilberry's honor!
Also, yeah, not too often you see the infantry is being dropped and floated, especially against the deck that was known for playing Prince Toad, but yeah, the beauty of open deck lists allow you to greet an extra point.
I guess this is just the Aridon now. Since Dominance... Oh no, it's just Winter Queen for the extra Frost. Okay, so I guess we'll see Red Riders on this Navigator then. I wonder if Myamon then now is thinking, I'll just boiling oil the Navigators if I'm scared
Is it
of it.
Navigator or Winter Queen that you are boiling? I guess the Frost is taking on both rows, so Winter Queen is getting less value, but yeah.
That is true as well. And I was thinking the Winter Queen could be dealt with later on. Like, there isn't as much of a rush to kill her, but there's also only so much damage you actually have. But maybe not rushing to deal with either. And maybe threatening the muzzle, if that was in hand, could, yeah, like, if, like, Dauren, like, this is the thing against the list that Myamon is playing. You have to play around both the muzzle and the heat wave, so if you Winter Queen at 6, you want to buff it out of range of the muzzle, but then if you buff it with the Navigator, you're buffing it way too high into heat wave range.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you respond here as Dauren? Also, you miss Dominance now. So maybe Myamon doesn't even care about Navigator if they're able to maintain that dominance.
So fighting for it, but yeah, there is a when there is an unused 10-point click on the board, you rarely see players pass in.
No.
So yeah, not the case here. And the dominance will be restored for okay, we even self-cannibalize with the help of Ballista.
Yep.
And yeah, dominance acquired.
Yeah, it looks like this is likely just past turn here for Myamon. And then this short round is going to be pretty awkward, I think, for Dauren. If you don't have... If you're going first, you don't have good chances to develop the Frost. Then Hensel into whatever will get a lot of value. Especially if Auburn plays multiple bodies at once.
Okay, so
And yeah,
decides not to waste the leader charge as well for maybe even more value.
oh gosh, this...
3 units in a row is also not ideal placements, I suppose.
Yeah. So, I don't know if Myamon's been counting right now. Morvid will do this by 1 point, I believe.
You might just place your opponent onto the Carantir as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
That was an option as
Yeah,
well.
Carantir.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
wouldn't be
big.
close.
So
Yeah.
Myamon is definitely looking for that heat wave.
Yep.
To
'Cause-
combine
and
it.
Darren looking for that Carantir, because and the Carantir would just be first played in this round 3 if it is found. But Heatwave is there for Myamon. Yeah, and this is Oddgate is just not good in this short round kind of situation. I don't think the Aristos do very much, but Glory is also not good. Like, you would have loved this Riptide, or at least this Caranthir to put the Heatwave under a bit more threat. Because otherwise, I mean, maybe it doesn't matter. Because at least Caranthir doesn't actually have a deploy, whereas these other cards do at least have some deploy, which affects the rest of the battlefield in some way.
I came, I saw,
Not having Frost on the other row is quite annoying for the Oberon because it's still at 6 power, prime muscle target.
Yeah.
But the lock not going through means the secret service is not thinned out, so maybe that veil is actually good.
So you see your opponent not playing Carantir as the first card, and you know that it's shrinking. This might just make you play the heat wave.
I think so.
Like, you're not going for dominance anyway at the moment. And, well, Carantir was the only heatwave target other than Eredin here. A decent one, at least. Okay, so the king ran into the Northern Kingdom, but warriors came after him and put him to rest. Yeah, this is what, 12 points for Dauren as the final score. That's a bit less than full leader.
Yeah. And you see the last stage is mattering so much in these matchups, because in both like this game and the last game, in these shorter round 3s, each player is essentially able to almost wipe out the entire opponent's board, but then the last card that they have, or the cards that they play after the opponent has passed, is just able to close that gap. So yeah, Darren just forfeits, saying, I don't have enough against the Hensel. And that's that.
And that's Myamon now with the victories on Skellige and Stockholm 2, Dauren at 1. So best of 5 series, Myamon has to win only once to secure the ticket to Gwent Open number 2. He can collect, he already has Gwent Open number 1 in the back, would be interested in maybe ruling them all throughout the year.
That would be quite an achievement. And we'll see if Myamon will be able to get the victory with this list of Open Sesames and just say Open Sesame to that gate towards winning this series.
Yeah. It would be symbolic to enter the Gwent Open number 2 through our gate of your opponent, for example. There is a portal as well into the Gwent Open 2 potentially, but maybe Dauren just closes the portal and doesn't let Myamon through from this first attempt.
It's your lucky day.
And solely
Navigators are
tier
quite
1
adept
sub
at
to
controlling
Lucien.
those
They have given
interdimensional
5 gift
portals.
subs in the channel.
So might be relying on getting a lot of that frost value in those navigators to retain their dominance, unlike the last game where Darren definitely did not manage to keep that dominance. But yeah, here's the Aristocrat. It's actually one of the decks that now that the Brawler isn't able to board wipe, the Aristocrat should be able to actually stick. Unless maybe you see a Shady Vendor trying to roll some damage crime.
Also, we got a couple of subs and donations, so thank you everyone supporting. You can support the streamers, the casters, but you can also contribute to the crowdfund pool that Matol has been collecting for all sorts of, at the moment, the Gwent World Cup, but yeah, you can support the events, !crowdfund, or join the Discord to find the links. We do appreciate your contributions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Dauren plays Frost on both sides. Both rows of Myamons. One of them is not like the other. When the ship is dying, if the coins are assembled, you can build yourself a new ghost ship. That's not how exactly the ghosts work, but nonetheless, I'm sticking with that story.
It works.
Learn that spell in Zerrikania.
Thing click, 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 and doesn't even need to click anything else. Rolls from the second attempt.
Winter Queen almost surviving there, but yeah, Brawler
Caught another taskmaster.
able to wipe both Winter Queen and the Anal Aristocrat. Does still be a result in a pass here for Myamon. Navigator is enough.
Yeah. But
But
Tirnalia is a
instead plays
choice.
Tirnalia, sets it up now to have this resilience going into round 2. Makes sense that you'd want to push in this kind of matchup. You want to, I mean, you can describe this Syndicate deck as a combo list, right? You set up the Open Sesames early, and then you want to blow them all at once with the Acherontia.
Yeah.
Now, if you're able to bleed out the Open Sesames or the Acherontia, suddenly they're not really able to get nearly as much value with that. Or if you bleed out the spenders in this round, or bleed out most of the spenders, particularly even the Jacques or King of Eggers, then you're able to not let the spenders stick into round 3. But I don't know if that's really such a viable line when you have not that many direct control tools in this White Frost list.
So both players committed artifact in round 1, so now those gonna be disappearing from round 3 if there is ever a round 3. Dauren had what, 3 and 1 I think was the split of the Frost on melee and range, so that's it's a nice extra value besides the Red Riders. Myamon, I'm not sure what was his plan. Either he was like, I'll play, if you don't pass early you cannot push me proper, I will have the candle already on board as the carryover to protect myself from your bleed. This Golden Child is like, he did okay. He didn't grow too much. I guess he learned a couple of life lessons, but also was laughed at home. But he wasn't like this, neither Ballant or like an aristocrat in its full form.
Yeah, probably more of a Caranthea Bronze Child in this game. But yeah, Oberon still finds decent pull in the Anal Aristocrat. And now there's a choice for Myamon. Do you just go with the Open Sesame or okay, Payday to get that kill?
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense because between the Frost Spawns on Tenalia and the Ardgaith, that would have been a lot of extra turns of Frost that Aristocrat would have provided, and then, you know, those Anal Navigators, those Wild Hunt Navigators would have double dipped on that value.
Yeah, potentially double Red Riders in this round, so
yeah,
it's a lot of boost. Will give the flashbacks of playing against Temerian infantry of sorts.
Man's got the wares. If you've got
Okay,
the
the second one is
who do I
given
spy?
Payday
I
again.
think
This time no
this is-
Sesame.
Yeah, so early King of Beggars, and it does go onto the wrong row here with the Frost, which is really unfortunate there for Myamon. But with the Payday is able to get the dominance, which means that if Dauren wanted to say go Navigator into Ternalia click with the replay on the Navigator, it's a bit less good. It's sort of 2 points less since the dominance is missing right now.
But don't really see Dauren finding the pass button with unclicked Tiernalia anyway, so must be seen that. Sadly, the second Red Riders that are in hand, they are, well, probably not seeing the combination with the Navigator, as the Junior is just waiting for his turn.
Yeah. So
A lot of frost. Even one leader charge committed. And well, Myamon's deck has Morels, it's not in hand. And it's kind of awkward if you get to get it properly from Acherontia as well, but here we see the ship.
ship floated.
Well, that's what ships do, but
Oh.
it's symbolic. Riptide, Acherontia. The storylines writing themselves. Like Riptide is just going against the ship. I'm not entirely certain. There was like the candle as well.
Should have taken the easy road.
Yeah, I'm
If-
surprised. I don't know why you wouldn't at minimum candle spend to protect against Riptide. I mean, you're always vulnerable to that Amulet's Wrath, but you could have protected against the Riptide.
Blind Redanian, I guess, is the target there. To thin it out, I think it popped off Graveyard on that turn, right? But now all
Just-
sorts
yeah.
of trouble, and Dauren, after seeing that Riptide connect, sure, won a 50-50, but that's a 50-50 that you take most times, because you are
Yeah.
pushing and you're just deflating your opponent's round so much.
I mean, yeah. If you miss the 50-50, you lose 2 points on the Navigator replay. If you win the 50-50, you gain so much more. So yeah, like you take that every time, and you see just this huge gap. It seems like Myamon wasn't respecting that threat of the Red Riders. Didn't use the Horson Jr. onto that Wild Hunt Navigator. Maybe thought like an Eredin or an Aristocrat later on would be scarier, but I'm not sure that's quite right. Nice thing is this leader works very well with the Oxenfurt Guard, and with an Open Sesame should be enough here.
Yeah, the reach
Get ahead.
is definitely there with Sesames and the leader. And by definitely, I mean most likely.
It is there. But now if you use this leader, you will trigger the final Sesame this round, and you didn't need it.
Wait, he's still losing 4.
Oh, so you do need it because of the first
Yeah, he needed like 1 coin, maybe 1 coin, and not trigger
Yeah.
would have been nice, but... So, Jacques against Morpwood. Morpwood kinda wins it, but Jacques also has the spending function. No Novigrad, so bank is what you want, Novigrad.
Yeah.
What does
believe
Dauren
there's
has?
still one leader for Dauren, right? Still golds in the Eredin and the Wrath.
Oh,
Wrath can be
nice.
particularly scary if Myamon, if there is a lack of spenders, but with the Naglfar, Wrath, and Eredin all missing here, there's quite a big choice of what the girls has to find. And okay, Dauren actually did use both leaders in that round. So,
It's
bit of a
kinda-
sad Foglet, probably just going to be cleaned up by the Moros immediately.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
very poor draws.
you are not seeing Morpwood anyway. Till the last play.
And Wrath might have to... Or the good thing about Moros being played early now is that... Okay, I was going to say Dauren could try to float the Morpwood and then use Wrath if felt like that was a viable line, but no, just go for the early Eredin. Probably the more consistent line, but I guess it ends up being correct since his Cursed Blacksmith would have been a very good spender, just going wider. Wouldn't have been forced to go tall onto this Jacques Grandmaster, but going slightly in the wrong row It's a bit unfortunate there for Myamon. But yeah.
So there are no sesames that trigger in. Both were utilized last turn. Now spent for Jacques to land properly. No KOB return. So what Myamon has is hidden in the Jacques now. So that's what 12 plus the leftover coins.
5, 17. It's gonna be just short, I believe.
Yeah, not a tie. So even
Well,
with
a tie in the
sacrifice the
series.
Chirontia, it is close for Myamon, but not close enough. I don't know if
I
he...
think that was close with Dauren basically drawing kind of worst case scenario almost,
true.
I'd say.
That is also true. So victory for Wild Hunt, and this is the Syndicate mirror finisher that we have here.
Yes, so I predict the Syndicate mirror. I think this time I'll be right on the money.
Will you predict who plays on which coin as well?
I might have to consult my crystal ball for this one, but I have a feeling Dauren will be on blue coin here with the Pirate's Cove, and it's a bit hazy, but off the books on the red coin.
Okay,
for
yeah,
Myamon.
nice call. And that's why we have Lemon here with us, to make puns, to make the correct predictions, to see the future. Thank you.
Yeah, and occasionally some semi-decent analysis, but
that as well. And the trigger for chat to spam Lemon GG. But also you guys can spam Matol Gwent. This is the final we are in. I didn't update the score though. The score is 2-2, so this is the decider. Syndicate Mirror is what we came to. I also guess we can change the border from Nilfgaard to Syndicate to be more fitting. That looks nicer.
I think it's fair to say that both these Syndicate decks rely on their respective Fire Persian crimes quite a lot. For Dauren, that is the pulling the strings. For Myamon, that is the open sesame. And for Dauren, finding both pulling the strings this early, well, you got to be happy having that. Does have to use the Novigradian Justice to get access to the BGF, but with these two opening plays, that is 4 tags now for Dauren. So pulling the strings is online to quite a nice degree. Might be a bit of an overcommitment with how Myamon has played pretty slow in response. I don't know if either player is fine, basically just going long round. Probably whoever can set up first is happy.
Yeah,
if
I don't know.
Dauren could get a good
Dauren
tempo
definitely
pass
plays aggressive here with the Justice, not trying to slow play anything. So you might read it as him being quite interested in either winning this, so like tempo passing is hard.
Yeah.
Without engine value. It would have been cute, but absolutely broken if pulling the strings would redeploy the sewer riders here.
Yeah.
In two extra copies.
Yeah, okay. So it is Shady Vendor pulling strings. Does have the 8 coins for the maximum carryover going into the round 2.
I am on 1 coin short of getting the Flame Redanian in.
Yeah, so yeah, and with that, Myamon would effectively need like 11 points to catch up in one. Would probably need to be a Horse and Junior commit if it were to be the Temper Pass, but it looks like Dauren happy to just develop the slight profit with the Fistech Trafficker, not going offensive, just poisoning a lower power unit. Doesn't have to worry too much because Myamon's deck isn't actually playing poisons sort of in the main deck. Always a threat of a failed experiment coming from that Eventide Plunder, however.
Yeah, and you never know what you meet on the streets of Novigrad as well. The click from there can bring all kinds of poisonous creatures and humans.
I'd say that regardless of kind of how it goes, in terms of who wins the round one, I'd say that the Pirates Cove does like the first say quite a lot. Just being able to develop your gangs before the opponent, and then just have the pulling the strings online is quite powerful. Also, Myamon is playing the bare knuckle brawler, and you know you don't want to play second into the bare knuckle brawler.
Okay,
So that's a
double.
bit interesting. Is Myamon just going to mirror the Novigrad? Yes.
That's a nice find on both players. We've seen people play Novigrad in round 3 quite often, but that's the Devotion Syndicate for you. Not enough thinning tutoring available most often. Like we see that Flying Redania and KOB are the thinners, but takes a while for them to come out.
Do you think the situation a jest?
Okay, speaking of Flying Redanian, there it is. So Dauren, are we breaking the 7 card barrier here?
I believe so. Certainly.
Okay, and goes for the leader.
Yeah. So this isn't even for the Tide Clerk tag. This is just to have a spender, because the Sewer Raiders already provided that additional tag. But when you want to play the what are they? Mutant Makers to get the Firesworn Salamanders on board as well, you need to have a bit of spending beforehand. That's what this first Sea Jackal provides. I would not be surprised if it is a Siggy Reuven follow-up here for Dauren, aiming to get the BGF on board to then have a good collusion pulling the strings in the next couple turns.
Okay, so
They're from
speaking
Novigrad
of
already.
poison creates from Novigrad, potentially.
That is also a threat, yes. And there's a 50-50 whether the Siggy is going to find the Blind Eye poison. So
Premium grade won't find any better.
we're actually guaranteed on the Salamander, I think, as well with the failed experiment.
Okay, so going super tall for Morel's target, and that's nice for Myamon to have.
And look, sometimes you don't want 6 gangs when you're playing pulling the strings. If you're only seizing a 4-power unit, you'd rather only have 4 gangs, and that's exactly what you get here with the Novigrad creating that Blind Eye tag to put down, just enough to steal that spender. And yeah, values the Oxenfurt Guard as a spender more than the Brawler, considering the Brawler is only going to be hitting a Jackal and making Myamon's Talk Punish less strong here.
The Brawler spending is kind of annoying. Hitting the Morel's target is rude.
Yeah.
The docks! The docks! Which way to the docks?
No
The
blind
Renegade
eyes.
Mage is the Blind Eye who kills the opposing Soul Blind Eye for Dauren's side of the board.
Yeah, some struggle for power inside the gang, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean,
One
it makes sense for the Renegade Mage to, you know, is it Renee? That's a word, right?
Mm.
Go against the Blind Eyes.
Yeah, not really an expert on that word at the very least, but sure.
I swear I've read it somewhere. Just take my word for it. Maybe don't take the Renegade Mage's word. Yeah, so if it is more efficient certainly to spend on the Sea Jackal here, if you wanted to play something with profit, but going quite low here on the timer.
Man's got the wares if you've got the coin.
So just something like smuggle, yeah, fix you. So gangs, cool. Represented Firesworn, Salamandra, Tide Cloaks, and a couple of humans mixed into that city affairs. Maybe they didn't want to. So yeah, not. It looks like a lot of units, but they are doubling and tripling the same category mostly.
Yeah. And there goes the big spender. Yeah, I think it was definitely a bit of a rope there for Darren. I don't know. I don't think you'd normally want to spend on the Sea Jackal there rather than the Oxenfurt Guard, because you just want to play around that tall punish. That could have had, potentially 2 more points. Technically 3, since the Brawler would have hit the Footman, I believe. C has been held for a very long time, considering this is like kind of almost your last copy of some of these tags, but I think, yeah, it would either be past this turn or go basically all in. So you see the Bloody Good Friends does find King of Beggars at the Blind Eye slot, so might just end up having to go for the Horson Jr. as a result. I think would have taken the Trafficker to finish up the poison on the Brawler. Unfortunately, Horson just has to get that kill. But this does give access to all the tags with the Blind Eye and King of Beggars coming out. No spend does mean the King of Beggars is quite vulnerable to this Salamander Mage, though.
Yeah, there are not enough coins for the tribute at the moment, but there is a Novigrad click. Your opponent click Novigrad. There goes the attack control, spender control.
Yep. So now there is only 4 tags remaining.
It's actually still okay as far as tags go. The token.
But since Salamander is one of the missing tags, the collusion is still almost max value.
Be ashamed to let this beauty go to waste.
So you can roll damage onto the ship, which you probably don't want to do. Still might float the ship as we've seen it before, but hits Morels instead.
Yeah, you can also pulling the strings the ship as well to get a bit of extra carryover, and decides to clean up the opposing horse. Junior. And now the King of Beggars is spent on to get out of range of the Salamander Mage. Quite a big difference in points now. Still Novigrad click and leader advantage for Myamon, as well as, virtue of having kind of 2 extra cards to play before having even number of cards in hand due to losing the round 1 card up. And the Salamander Mage is looking pretty scary, and I don't think there's a super great way for Darren to respond. Likewise, can't really do with the Acherontia either due to only controlling 4 tags right now.
Yeah. Would have been quite the steal. Anyways.
And literally, Myamon can look at the remaining cards in the deck, and none of them deal damage. None of them have the potential to create damage. So Acherontia very safe, and I think this is actually the time where you can afford to float the Acherontia. This is just too tempting of a pulling the strings not to take, I think.
Okay, so final moves in this final game of round 2, but potentially round 3, you never know what Acherontia brings. Like, waters can bring anything and everything ashore, but if you are especially running it on the ship, you can transport lots of goods, but you can also pick King of Beggars accidentally.
True. That is probably the main downside to playing it uncontested this early.
Okay, that's not happening.
Takes, yeah. You choose the street urchins here because it gives you the most coins and also gives you the 1-for-1 spender to ensure that you can always have enough spending to trigger any open sesames as you need, as you require. But there's only one open sesame in the graveyard here with a 2 charge right now.
Closer. Come on now,
But
try.
yeah, not going to need to be triggered here from Myamon. So
That's
looking decent going into the next round now.
yeah, you have click available. Your opponent basically played most of the golds, bearing the jug that you have one
Yeah.
copy of as well. You might get some extra coins from Vivaldi Bank, cashback from KOB, Sesame.
Yeah, there's leader advantage, King of Beggars advantage, Novigrad click advantage.
Little Birds
those
are
are
nice
probably-
cards, but they are a little bit too late to the party as all the gangs
Yeah,
were
they-
already locked up in the graveyard.
They should be able to still play for like
Well, yeah.
3, maybe 4 spending for 2 coins. Just still efficient.
Well, yeah. Nothing to complain about, but in a longer period of this round 2, they could have
And,
accumulated quite a few extra points.
And you know what? Myamon was sort of 1 point short of 1 point ahead, I guess, of not needing to trigger the open sesame graveyard there. And if Dauren had have optimized the points a little bit more on the micro level in the last round, there would have been a little bit less carryover for Myamon now in this round 3.
Yeah. But now, well, yeah, the Novigrad is still there. The Sesame is at 1 charge. Okay, here we go.
Hark, brothers. These are the
That's
words
a
of
good
script.
bait. 20-point lead. And
And also it's
well,
worth-
poisons.
It's worth noting that Myamon also has double Salamander on board right now. So Shady Vendor not only gets the 2 coin refund from the Salamander Mage, but if it can roll that Stolen Mutagens, that can be a lot of value.
So fish deck alert as well.
Oh yeah, true.
Let's see what is being optimized here. Goes front row.
How about this
Does
one?
take the risk. Finds the Eventide Plunder potentially. If you get your own failed experiment.
That's the roll that probably seals the deal here.
Yeah.
Dauren of course has the full bank, but we see that he forfeits after that roll.
Yeah, I don't know. I bank into the failed experiment rather than the little bird seems incorrect there, regardless of kind of the roll from Myamon.
So we are congratulating the ever-present on Matol tournaments Myamon with taking the series 3-2. Close battles. Dauren managed to get to the final match or game of this match, and he gets another shot in the lower bracket series against well, I haven't checked yet, but either Sanvanter or Lerio. So, well done, Myamon, King of Nilfgaard from the recent community tournament of Nilfgaard only. Also takes a slot in Gwent Open